Please be advised, sensitive content is present. Viewer discretion is recommended. This video seeks to offer insightful commentary and foster respectful conversation. From ancient bards to modern-day celebrities, artists have often found themselves at the center of controversy. And while the work they produce may be cherished, the individual behind the art is not immune from scrutiny. Today, we explore a sensitive and complex question. Should we separate the art from the artist? Recent allegations against Neil Gaiman have made me question how we reconcile artistic genius with personal misconduct. This is not an easy conversation, but I believe it's an essential one. It forces us to confront how we navigate the messy intersections of creativity, morality, and accountability. Let's look into the nuances of this moral and ethical dilemma and examine what it means for Neil Gaiman, the art world, and beyond. Neil Gaiman, the creative mind behind iconic works like The Sandman, American Gods, and Coraline, has long been a beloved figure in modern storytelling. His imaginative narratives and philosophical themes have captivated millions of readers. But recently, Gaiman has faced accusations by multiple women, with some accounts dating back decades. Gaiman denies the allegations, but for fans like me, the news comes as quite a shock. This situation isn't unique. Throughout history, many celebrated artists have faced similar controversies, sparking debates about censorship, morality, and our responsibilities as fans and patrons of creative works. To better understand the complexities of separating art from the artist, I think we should look at some historical examples where personal controversies have impacted an artist's legacy. This is by no means an exhaustive list, but these examples illustrate how the art versus artist debate extends across various types of media, compelling society to confront how we celebrate or condemn creative individuals when their personal lives clash with our values. The heart of the debate lies in whether it's moral, ethical, or even possible to separate an artist's work from their personal life. Some argue that art should be judged independently of its creator. Art's power lies in its ability to inspire, educate, and entertain, transcending the flaws of the individual who created it. After all, Pieces like Stardust or Neverwhere mean something deeply personal to many readers, myself included. And this is regardless of Neil Gaiman's personal controversies. But others contend that enjoying an artist's work implicitly endorses their actions, financially or symbolically. And that's a fair point. How can we separate the art from the artist when their personal life undermines the values their work may appear to represent? The question becomes even more complex when we consider the ripple effects of censorship. Removing or blacklisting an artist's work sends a clear message of accountability, but it also raises concerns about free expression and the erasure of cultural history. I think censorship plays a central role in this sort of debate. When an artist's personal life is marred by controversy, public calls for their work's removal often follow. In recent times, many artists accused of misconduct find their work removed from streaming services, syndication, or other types of platforms. For example, Kevin Spacey and Bill Cosby experienced widespread erasure of their work following allegations and convictions. The reason I think this is a slippery slope is because historical censorship has often been used as a tool of oppression, silencing marginalized voices or erasing politically dissenting art. And this raises concerns about whether removing problematic art could unintentionally set a dangerous precedent. That's why I think contextualization might be the key here. Some argue for critically engaging with art rather than erasing it. For instance, Lovecraft's racism could be addressed alongside his literary contributions, then offering an opportunity for education rather than outright dismissal. The challenge lies in finding a balance between accountability and the preservation of cultural heritage. For me, this debate feels personal. I've admired Neil Gaiman's work for years. His stories have shaped the way I view creativity and storytelling. But the recent allegations have made me question whether I should continue to enjoy his art in good conscience. On one hand, I believe in the transformative power of art and its ability to connect us across time and space. On the other, I don't want to ignore or dismiss the harm experienced by those who have come forward with allegations of abuse. I think my internal conflict mirrors the larger societal dilemma. Can we celebrate the work of flawed creators without condoning their actions? Is it possible to strike a balance between holding artists accountable and preserving the cultural contributions they've made? Ultimately, there are no easy answers to this dilemma. It forces us to reflect on our own values, the role of art in society, and how we navigate the gray areas where morality and creativity intersect. Perhaps the key lies in fostering thoughtful conversations, like this one. Holding artists accountable while still critically engaging with their work. Accountability and redemption can coexist with the preservation of art as a cultural artifact. So, this is my personal commentary on the matter. I don't know. The reason I decided to put this video together is because this is a question I really struggle with. I believe there's a great value in works done by writers and artists who have very controversial personal lives. there is a case-by-case basis that needs to be discussed. But at the end of the day, I'm just a dumb guy who likes smart storytelling. I think we need to have this conversation, and I want to have this conversation with you guys. I want input. What do you think when it comes to controversial artists, actors, writers, and when is it the time to have that debate of separating art from artist? It's an ongoing discussion, as I've pointed to in this video. I put a lot of thought into this because it's very personal for me. I love Sandman. I love Stardust. There's a lot of things Neil Gaiman has done that I've enjoyed over the years, both the books, the comics, and the film adaptations. His work with Terry Pratchett is phenomenal. I don't want to see great art sidelined because one of the people involved has some very reprehensible life choices, to put it lightly. And I don't want to make light of the real impact to people in his life that he has wronged. That's not where I'm going with this. I'm just trying to think this out, and I think this is the right forum to do that. But again, I need your guys' comments on this. Again, I'm not making light of the situation, but I do want to bring in a secondary perspective on this. I've been working on creating a persona, a AI co-host. She's based on a large language model, and I want her perspective on this. So I'm going to bring her in. And I'm doing this because she is based on, millions, perhaps billions of data points based on the text of books, the scripts of movies, basically everything they can glean from the interweb and plug into these large language models. There's a bias there. I'm not exactly sure how that bias affects the answers that the AI gives. I use her sometimes when I'm brainstorming and I'm doing research for scripts, and I'm wondering how that data is skewed. And on very controversial topics like this, I'm curious what her opinion is based on what she's programmed on. So let's ask her the question and see what response we get. I don't know where this is going, so we'll just see. What is your opinion on the argument of art versus artist?
Largo. It's my belief that in the art versus artist debate, nuance is key. While it might be tempting to reduce the issue to a binary choice, the reality is often more complex. Consider this: art is both a product and a reflection of human culture. It evolves with society, carrying the imprint of its time and circumstances. We can use art to examine the artist's worldview, but also to understand our own. By engaging with art, even that which makes us uncomfortable, we create opportunities for discourse and growth.
Thank you. So I bring that up to just expand the conversation. When you go to AI to do research, consider the bias, because there is bias, not only in the people who originally programmed the large language model, but my own bias. As I continue to do research with Brasilina, she picks up my personality traits, my bias isn't quite the right word. Prejudice probably is a fair, I'm prejudiced. There's certain writers I like, there's certain writers I don't. And so that flavors the type of responses. So just some more food for thought. To wrap this up, looking at everything as analytically as I can, even though I do have some personal emotional feelings about it, I've decided at this point I will continue to enjoy the works of Neil Gaiman, Cormac McCarthy, and other writers and artists and actors, regardless of their personal lives. Because I do think we can separate art from artist. I don't condone or endorse what they do in their private lives, because I don't have a dog in that fight. I don't. I just look at what is produced. Does the art have merit? Is it well written? Does it speak to, things in our human experience that are of value? I might change my mind, but that's where I'm at today. And again, I want this to be an ongoing conversation. So please leave your comments. Tell me how you are struggling with this type of dilemma. And next episode of Largo's Lair will be a little bit lighter. We'll continue pursuing mythology and folklore. But I think it's fair to also address controversial topics or hot button issues, because that's where we are. So thank you for your time and attention. And if you appreciate what we do here, let me know, and we'll see you in the near future.